ESPN, sad day for ESPN. Sad day for Jeff Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy, the Van Gundy brothers, respectfully, Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, Susie Kolber, and there's going to be more people. ESPN has laid off some of the big names, and they did it on some true. They did it on a Friday. They did it on a 4th of July weekend Friday, which I've told you once, I've told you a million times. If you wanna, it's a publicist trick. You want something to be buried, put it on a Friday. You'll forget about it on a Monday. You want something to be really buried, put it out on a holiday long weekend. And they did it. We're no longer going to have Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Breen, and Mark Jackson calling games on ESPN. We're no longer going to have Max Kellerman. We're no longer going to have Keyshawn Johnson, Susie Kolber, and there's more coming. Jeff Van Gundy, of course, I mean, come on, man. He's so good of a broadcaster. And I know it's a business. I know it is a business, just like free agency, NBA free agency. It's a business. Bruce Bowen just won Denver Nuggets. He won them some quarters. He's gone from Denver. He's in Indiana. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, bye-bye from the Miami Heat. But the fact that they couldn't get, this is where we are at. ESPN, television, Sports Center. You did it to yourself, ESPN. Listen, I know things are changing. We're on those phones and all that. You have not evolved with the times. You still have your broadcasters suited and booted. And that's good for some shows. You gotta let them let their hair down. There's gotta be more talking. Can't talk NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball on ESPN because they have contracts with them. I know. They brought in Pat McAfee, who is, this is a formidable person. $85 million for 5 years. Let Pat McAfee call the games. You want to get rid of Stan Van Gundy, Jeff Van Gundy? Let him call everything. Think he's that good? 5 years, $85 million. Football trumps everything. He's a football guy. But ESPN, this is literally your Hail Mary. Pat McAfee is the Hail Mary at ESPN. Personally, I don't think Jesus Christ himself happens to be Jewish. Jesus Christ was a Jew. Jesus Christ was a Jew. Put Jesus Christ up there, people ain't going to watch. It's sad. And unless you could start cursing on ESPN and really let your hair down and do something outrageous, it's over. It's over. There's too many places on social media. Get all your highlights. It used to be a go-to. Whether it was football, baseball, basketball, top 10 plays of the night. We've already seen the top 10 plays of the night by the time Scott Van Pelt comes on. SVP, respectfully. We've seen them over and over and over from many different angles on social media. Unless you're going to really let and throw punches, it's over. And you could pay Pat McAfee all you want, and he deserves it. He built an empire of his own. Pat McAfee, Jesus Christ himself, ain't gonna make people turn into ESPN. And that's no disrespect to what McAfee has created. But it is a sad day that Jeff Van Gundy's gone, Jalen Rose gone from ESPN. Like I said, I know it's a business. Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, Susie Kolber, and there's more people going. The thing that's offensive is that ESPN, if I was their representation, if I was those people, I would be offended that they did it on a Friday. They did it on a Friday, and they buried it. They tried to bury it so that we forget about it, that they forget about it, that fans forget about it over the long weekend. That's the sucker. They deserved better. And I'm sure they'll get sign-offs and send-offs and little tributes. But that's whack. That's weak. Especially as a Jeff Van Gundy fan. Stan, respectfully. I know you're probably going, do Stan Van Gundy. It's okay. Stan Van Gundy. Bizarro Stan Van Gundy. Taking trips to Cuba. He could now bring Jeff. They could go down to Cuba with Terry Cummings and Jack Sikma and get wacky. Hey, but Dennis Rodman, what's wrong with you, Dennis Rodman? What's wrong with you? Are you got brain damage? Is your brain literally damaged? Something wrong with you. Are you that desperate for attention? Brain damaged Dennis. That's my new nickname. You ain't the worm. Brain damaged Dennis Rodman. You sound nuts. I don't know if it's too much hair bleach. I don't know if you're just thirsty for attention. Said that Larry Bird, who I had a dream about. I had a dream about Larry Legend, and I ain't no Larry Legend apologist. But I woke up in Miami. I told my wife, I said, I had a dream about Larry Bird. She goes, what was it? I go, I was rebounding for him. It was Larry Bird in his prime. He had on the green Celtics t-shirt, and I was rebounding for him. And he was making every shot. It's easy to rebound for a professional basketball player. All you got to do is get it out of the net. They don't bounce like a normal person. You rebound for a normal person, it's like an exercise. Rebounding for Larry Bird, you just going like this. Taking it out of the net. It's going in every time. Rebounding for Brian Scalabrine, same thing. They don't miss. Professional basketball players do not miss. Like 1 in 20 shots they miss. But the dream was I was rebounding for him, and then he was like, you should get a truck. He was telling me to get some kind of truck. That was my Larry Bird dream. Dennis Rodman, you sound dumb. You sound deranged, Dennis Rodman. He said that if Larry Bird played in today's NBA, he'd be a non-factor. Matter of fact, he'd be in Europe, meaning he wouldn't be able to play in today's NBA, Larry Bird. Slow-ass, jump-shooting Larry Bird. Yo, Larry Bird, first of all, was 6'10". Don't get it twisted. Larry Bird would dominate this NBA. He would. If you've never seen Larry Bird play, and Dennis Rodman obviously did, you can't hold Larry Bird's jockstrap, Dennis Rodman. You don't think Larry Bird would flourish in this non-hand checking logo 3 era? Larry Bird was on that three-point shooting stuff while it was evolving, while you were in the league. I've seen you. Was it Pride Month in Cleveland or Austin, Texas? Maybe a jockstrap's too tight. He was walking around in a jockstrap or something, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, get yourself some Burt's Bees. Your lips look like they're burnt. You need to put some olive oil, some Vaseline, some lotion on your lips, Dennis Rodman. Again, I ain't no Larry Bird apologist, but you sound cuckoo for coconuts.